Yugi Bros!
What is up, my Yugi Bros? It has been a bit, actually. Bringing the new format here. I'm sorry we had to wait an extra week or two to give these videos to you guys. I've been extremely busy with work and a million other things, but I'm trying to get back on the swing of things, so I'm sorry for the delays. I know that teaser was a little annoying considering I dropped it, I think, on Monday or Tuesday, and I waited until now to do it. But trust me, it's not me waiting. I've been trying to get this videos out as fast as possible. It's actually just been really hard for me to get there. But today we have we're trying out the two old school decks we've played on this channel before. We're trying Heavy Metal Boys with a new format, and we're trying Ecto Zombies. I feel like both decks got a lot of a boost from things that currently exist, as well as new stuff as well. Starting out with Heavy Metal Raiders here. The first time each Dark Machine monster you control would be destroyed by battle. Each turn it is not destroyed, and if you took battle damage from that battle, it gains that much attack. And it keeps that attack as long as this card is face up on the field. Once per turn, if a monster you control that was originally a Dark Machine destroys a card or cards on the field by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Dark Machine monster from your hand. In addition, it makes us so we start with one less card in our hand, but I feel like the trade-off is really good as so long as this doesn't get destroyed. Our opponent is playing zombies, as I've said. Their skill will be revealed in a second here, so we'll go through. And we start off with Dekoichi. Dekoichi's really strong with this field spell because if they attack it, it's not going to die once per turn, so you'll get the flip, and then it'll stay there for longer. We're playing Adhesion Trap Hole in here as well because it's really good. These things stay and they gain the difference in attack, so it's really strong if they're weaker, but also it prevents our opponent from getting over it. Ectoplasmic Fortification for zombie skill says, once per turn, if you control a zombie monster, you can place one counter on this card. All zombie monsters you control gain 100 attack and lose 100 defense for each counter on this card. Also, any battle damage you would take from battles involving zombie monsters is doubled. So the downside is you take double battle damage. The upside is your boys get stronger every turn. This also isn't a field spell. It stays outside the game, so your opponent has no way of getting rid of it, which is nice. But you got to keep in mind the double effect. In this game, we actually do forget it, but we do bring it back before the end of the game, so don't worry, we will mix. The only thing with the replay here is that the counters don't go on the cards. They're off to the side. It's a little strange. But aside from that, they're going to pass only because you don't want to swing into anything that's face down. It could be a Blast Sphere, it could be a Dekoichi, but even if it is Dekoichi, it's not going to die, so you want to start swinging with double monsters. So we're gonna set our Blast Sphere, we're gonna flip our Dekoichi, and we draw into a Dekoichi. What's cool about this deck is that yes, you start with one less card, but because between Dekoichi and the new card Iron Draw, which I'll show later in this duel, there's enough draw power to get you back into the game. So we have Dekoichi swing in here, and we take 700, but the reason we do that is because our field spell will then give Dekoichi that 700 attack. It doesn't die by battle once per turn, so now it's a 2100 beat stick. Allowing us to next turn swing into this Dragon Zombie, assuming nothing else changes, crash, but our guy won't die by battle. It's really cool. These guys get really beefy really quick with this field spell. They're going to put another counter on Ectoplasmic and summon a second Dragon Zombie. We're going to Adhesion this one, so it's going to go down. It cuts its original attack, so it goes to 800 and then gains the boosts between Pyramid and Ecto. So I believe it's 14 right now, if I'm not mistaken. They're going to swing with the 1400 into Blast Sphere. Blast Sphere will do its effect, as always, and they're not going to have Dragon swing into Dekoichi here because there's no point. So going to pass. We're going to draw Iron Draw. Iron Draw is really good, like I said. We're going to normal summon Blast Sphere because we feel like we can go on the offensive now, and we might as well because if we control exactly 2 machine effect monsters, we can draw 2 cards with this. For the rest of the turn, you can only special summon once, but that's fine. Speed duels, you're not special summoning all that much anyways. So we get the 2 free draws. We draw Floodgate and another barrel. We're going to set Floodgate, and we're going to go into our battle phase to hopefully get this field spell's effect off. We're going to have Blast Sphere swing into the... it is the stronger one. Don't... The counter's on the other one. It's weird how this is set up. Everything's off to the side. We're going to take 800 and gain the difference. Instead of swinging to the other one, though, we're just going to pass. We're going to let Blast Sphere do its thing, and we're going to do a clean, nice 1400 to our opponent's life points. They're going to activate Book of Life. This is really strong. This card's been around for a few sets now. It's target a zombie in your grave and one monster in your opponent's grave. You special summon the first target and banish the second. But this gets stronger, obviously, because zombies keep getting more support. This card's actually, its price is actually up kind of a lot right now. It's really good. So they'll summon back Dragon Zombie and banish our Blast Sphere. Keep in mind, your opponent has to have a card in the grave for banish for that card to work. They'll summon double costed normally, and we're going to floodgate it. Floodgate puts the monster face down defense position and keeps it there as long as it's there. That's really strong. They can't reflip afterward, so it allows us to kind of preemptive play around big things. I feel like it's arguably better than Windstorm because Windstorm deals with it for a turn, but this deals with it both on the summon and forever while it's face down. So it's really strong. They have Dragon Zombie swing in to our Dekoichi for 200, and then the other one will swing in for another 200, and that's it. We drew Bashing Shield. Bashing Shield says equipped to a normal summon set, monster gains 1,000 attack, and you take no battle damage from battles involving it. So our boy is now 3,200 because he was already buffed 800, and we're going to have this swing in a Dragon Zombie for 11. This would actually do 22 because of the Ectoplasmic. We'll fix this in a second. But we're going to use the Field Spells effect because we destroyed a opponent's card. By battle of the card effect, we can special summon a Dark Machine from our hand. So we'll summon Barrel Dragon for free. That's kind of the gimmick of this deck. And don't get me wrong, that one counters on the Blast Sphere, not the Barrel Dragon. But they have the Floodgate Trap Hole, so they will flip our barrel face down, and we will not be able to reflip it. That's a really good move on their part. But again, like I said, keep in mind they should be at 400 life points, not 15. At some point here, okay, so they summon double Costin, they boosted up Ecto again, and they're going to swing into Barrel Dragon. It won't die once per turn because of Heavy Metal Raiders, which is also BS. So they're going to have to swing into it twice to get it off the field, but both zombies are stronger than 2,200 defense that Barrel has. At this point, we realized that the life points should have been doubled at one point. Our opponent, I think, misread some of it and put himself to 0. He should have been at 400, but in all reality, you can't get over my 3,200 Blast Sphere. I would just swing next turn for game anyways, so it was game regardless. So we go into game 2. And what's interesting is that Waking the Dragon is now in Speed Duels, and I'll bring this up later in this duel. Says if it's removed off the field by your opponent, you get special summon any monster from your deck or main deck. Main deck or extra deck, I'm sorry. And that makes anything that destroys spell and trap a lot arguably worse. You'd still play it, but you have to play around stuff. So we open 2 back row, no monsters. We're going to adhesion the first Dragon Zombie that's coming out. This thing's going to get up to 9. And it's going to swing in direct because it cuts its original attack to 8, then gets boosted by Ecto for 100. But back on Waking the Dragon, it makes side decking a little bit more harsh because before you'd bring in the Night Beams, the Dust Tornadoes, now you have Double Cyclone as an option as well. Now it's a little bit more like you'll still bring them in, but you have to play around stuff. Make sure you have the out to if they have Waking the Dragon. For example, right here, Night Beam. They have Night Beam, but they do have the Floodgate because we knew they said it the turn previous from the replay. But if that was Awakening the Dragon and they didn't have that, we'd arguably summon Blue Eyes Ultimate from our extra deck. And that's just a real problem for a lot of people. So they got 2 Dragon Zombies, but they're going to pass. The reason they didn't have the other one swing is because it was only at 900 attack, or I'm sorry, 1,000 attack. 1,000 would crash, whether it was Blast Sphere or Dekoichi. That's not worth going into, giving them an option of flip. Let them flip the card. You don't want to take damage for no reason, but also make it so that if it gets over at next turn for an extra 100, then you can cleanly swing over something like a Dekoichi, and it was Dekoichi, go figure. They're gonna floodgate our Dekoichi, which is interesting because that allows us to flip it again in the future, not through its effect, but if our opponent swings into it to draw another card. But I like that they did that because they had no, as you can see, they had no way to stop us if we had our Dekoichi swing over something and kill it. So if they were worried about the Bashing Shield and the Barrel Dragon, that was a good move on their part. They're going to summon a Costin. They're going to go full guns blazing. We're going to swing into a Dekoichi. They're going to draw. We're going to draw. It doesn't die once, so they're going to swing in. And then they're going to go directly for 2,000. Keep in mind the double battle damage does not count for attacking directly. It only counts zombies battling. So we're going to set 2, summon a Blast Sphere, and swing. We're going to have Blast Sphere kill over the one that's actually weaker, they actually take an extra 300 there. And then we're going to have our field spell summon barrel for free, which swings over that. For 600, actually should be doubled, and we fixed that right here. Yeah, don't worry. Lot of effects to keep in mind when playing speed duels with skills in the game. So the double the battle damage, but they summon double cost in, but we have Floodgate Trap Hole, so we might as well flip it face down. There's really no reason not to. At this point, they're going to put Dragon Zombie in defense because they can't kill over our sphere effectively. We draw a Bashing Shield, which just adds insult to injury. We're going to have Iron Draw here, draw us 2 cards. We drew the Waking the Dragon, so now if they do Night Beam us again, we have Waking the Dragon to summon anything. Keep in mind, it does summon from main deck as well as extra deck, so you could, in theory, summon like another Barrel Dragon if you felt the need, which is kind of cool. Iron Draw is only once per turn, so we can't use the other Iron Draw. We flip our coins for Barrel Dragon to try to swing in for what would be game if this hits. We get tails, we get heads, and we get tails, so it's no good. It says it over here. The replay, I think, just reveals a generic coin. We're going to set, we're going to swing. We're going to kill both of these things off, and we're going to pass. We are all set. We are in the driver's seat. There is only one downside, and we only have 1100. And they summon double cost in and put Pyramid of Wonders up, which gives their zombie 200 attack for every monster I control. And then they get a 500 boost from Ectoplasmic Fortification. So they are actually at what would be 2600, which is 1200 over Blast Sphere for what would be game. Very strong play, very good maneuver, especially because they know they can't just beat out brute force over the field. They're going to have to go for max damage. And that would be game. However, we do have one face down in addition to our Waking the Dragon, and that is Dust Tornado. So we will use it to pop Pyramid of Wonders, therefore making it so it's not game. I think we calculated life a little incorrectly here, but it doesn't matter. It's not game regardless. And as obvious, they could have scooped, but they decided to pass. We're just going to do our effects just in case. If they have something like Sphere Karibo or something, we want to be ready. We're going to use Barrel Dragon's effect. Go figure, it hits anyway. So we just pop the boy straight up. But you might as well keep going, activate Iron Draw, draw 2 more cards, and equip a Bashing Shield to a Blast Sphere, because, hey, if you can make Blast Sphere MVP, let's do it, right? Blast Sphere for game, in not the way that it normally goes. But yeah, so that was our duels. I wanted to give you guys both deck lists to look through real quick. So this is what we played for our deck. It is 2 Barrel Dragon, 3 Dekoichi, 3 Blast Sphere, 3 Helping Robo for combat. I'll explain that in a second. 2 Iron Draw, 2 Bashing Shield, 2 Adhesion Trap Hole, and 3 Floodgate Trap Hole. Obviously our skills, Heavy Metal Raiders. Our side deck is 1 Magician of Faith, 1 Ally of Justice Core Destroyer, 2 Dust Tornado, 2 Waking the Dragon. And because of Waking the Dragon now, I feel like everyone should be playing an extra deck. It's 2 Blue Eyes Ultimate, 1 Arcana Knight Joker, 1 Meteor Black Dragon, 1 Ryushin, I forget this thing name, Ryu Senshi, that's it, and 1 Alligator Sword Dragon. So the explanation on the extra deck real quick. If you're playing 2 Kaiba's Awaken the Dragon, I feel like you should play the equivalent of Blue Eyes Ultimate just because it's a big beat stick. The arguable only replacement to that is Arcana Knight Joker because of its effects. Otherwise, so we're playing 2 Waking the Dragon, so we played 2 Blue Eyes Ultimate. Arcana is a really good option. Meteor Black, I can't imagine why we'd need that over something else, but you never know depending on what your opponent has. Ryu Senshi deals with spells, so that's an option. And Alligator Sword Dragon has that random effect where it can attack directly if the circumstances are correct, so I feel like that's just something worth playing as it is. But back to the main deck. 2 Barrel Dragon because you don't want to brick with this card, but you can bring it out multiple times with Heavy Metal Raiders, so that's cool. Waking the Dragon makes it a little bit more accessible, which is nice. 3 Dekoichi, I feel like that's standard. That's really good with this card. You play the deck around the field spell, but you do give it options in case the field spell does get destroyed. 3 Blast Sphere as well. It's another Dark Machine. We don't have many Dark Machines that are relevant for this deck. Core Destroyer is like the only other one, but it's very niche, so we have it in the side deck now. Helping Robo for combat is not a Dark Machine, so don't get it twisted. It doesn't work with the field spell, unfortunately. However, this card is really good. If it destroys a monster by battle, it lets you draw a card, then return 1 card from your hand at the bottom of the deck. So again, you can recurge more things from your hand. You can draw power faster. You can get into things. Going forward, I might cut 1 for another spell or trap card, thinking maybe uh, either Fighting Spirit's still a really fun card in my opinion, but Bashing Shield just gets the job done quicker with the 1,000. So I'm probably gonna go with one more trap card. But I'm also on the mindset of I might add Sphere Karibo back to this. We had Sphere back in the old build, and I like that a lot because when your opponent thinks you're out of options and they just can play around your Metal Raiders, that's when you Sphere Karibo, the second attack or whatever, and that becomes a huge problem for them to deal with. They have to essentially jump leagues ahead of you to catch up after that. So Sphere Karibo is probably definitely going to go back in. I might even make the deck 21 with that card. Floodgate I just feel is better than Windstorm in most cases, like I explained it in the earlier video. So I don't see a reason not to play that. Magician of Faith we have in the side deck just because if our field spell does get destroyed, we can add it back. They ruled it that you can't shuffle skills that would then go to the graveyard back into the deck, so you can't Jar of Avarice. Otherwise, I would easily play Jar of Avarice over this card. I don't like Faith. I think it's really slow. But the cool thing is, because you are setting defenses all the time, if you set this, most of the time your opponent thinks it's either Decoy or your Blast Sphere, so they either hesitate to attack it or don't attack it at all, in which case you kind of get this free extra monster with an effect to get back your field spell. And once you get the field spell back, you kind of go ape. Like the deck revolves around the field spell super strongly. So 2 Iron Draw, not 3. You can only activate it once per turn. I don't want to brick with multiple of these. Also, you have to have exactly 2 effect machines, which I know isn't hard in this game, but you never always have that. Adhesion Trap Hole, I might switch. I'm not sure yet. It's really good. It's been a consistent card. I was playing Half Shut in here before, but this it just feels better. But Floodgate obviously takes the cake. But Adhesion does let us do more damage. I don't know yet. It like I said, if Sphere gets added to, like, that'll change up a few things. So definitely things to change in this deck. But all in all, I really like how it progressively got better through most of the cards. I'd give this deck a solid tier like 2 right now. Like, it's definitely not tier 1, but you can surprise your opponents, and if they don't see this stuff coming, you can easily take wins that you otherwise normally wouldn't. Moving on to the other deck list, we have Ecto Zombies. This has been a fan favorite of mine for a while. Definitely interesting new support in Haunted Shrine. We never drew that, so unfortunately I couldn't show it to you guys. If you control no monsters, you target a zombie in your grave, special summon it. If you control no monsters, you can banish this from your grave, target a zombie in your grave, special summon it, but its effects negated. Doesn't matter. You're playing it as a double reborn, essentially. None of your zombie effects actually matter in this deck. You're just playing what's arguably the strongest zombie monsters. We dropped Zombina because we now have this and Book of Life. This deck plays 1 Snake Hair because it's sadly the strongest zombie that's not Dragon Zombie or Double Costin, and I feel like 7's a good ratio for this deck. 3 Dragon Zombie, 3 Double Costin, 2 Pyramid of Wonders. This card is amazing. 2 Book of Life, 2 Half Shut, 3 Floodgate, 3 Adhesion Trap Hole, and 1 Haunted Shrine. I know I'm on the Adhesion Trap Hole thing right now. And this deck is a little bit better because you need your boys to always be stronger than your opponent's guys. And something like Kunai always took up space, which was a huge problem for this deck in the zones. And Windstorm only protected you for 1 turn, but you'd rather just always have their monster be weaker than yours so that you can always swing over even if you have to draw into a fresh zombie to do so. Half Shut's another reason for that. Also, so we don't take double battle damage if we don't have to. Also to keep our monster alive if it's in defense mode for a turn. If we need to stall for a little bit, we have that option as well. It's a hit and miss as well. I could again go back to like Sphere Karibo with something like this. I don't know. We'll have to test out things further. The Haunted Shrine, it never came up in that duel, but that card is really good. The only reason we play 1, though, is because it doesn't do anything for us on our turn, and we have to capitalize on our turn with this deck, or else we don't really do anything. So Book of Life's just the better option in general. Side deck, we play 2 Night Beam, 2 Dust Tornado. I feel like this is arguably standard, and 2 Waking the Dragon. And Waking the Dragon, I go back to the same thing I said with the other deck. Same extra deck purposes. The only difference is we dropped Meteor B for Mammoth Zombie, Mammoth Graveyard. I forget what its name is. The Zombie Fusion monster. We play that because we can summon it out with Waking the Dragon, and then it gets beefed up by our Ectoplasmic and our Pyramid of Wonders. Arguably, actually, I might put a second one in. It's never come up to where I've needed the second one, and if you can put a beat stick on the field, why not just summon Blue Eyes Ultimate, obviously. But the option is there. And of course, there's always room for improvement. But guys, what did you think of our duel video? I know it's been a very long time since we've done a duel video. I think Moby Thick was the last duel video, which is insane to think about that. Hopefully, no, definitely, I should say definitely. We will get a lot more duel videos out to you guys. I love doing these. It's been a very long time since we've done these, but I love testing new things for new formats. And thanks to Speed Duels finally giving a new set, we will be doing nothing but testing for the next upcoming weeks. Guys, comment, like, and subscribe as always. Please click that notification bell. I know it's annoying sometimes, but to get all of our latest updates. And leave a comment down below on what you guys have been testing with, because or what you'd rather what you'd want me to test with in the next duel video, because I've got a lot of options going on, and I don't always want to do tier 1. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the format hasn't changed too much. We're still going to play Hidden Parasite and Blade Control and all that stuff. Donzalug is a huge help to that deck, but regardless, I want to come up with a lot of other ideas or bring back a lot of old fan favorites or just, mess around in general. So let me know what you guys want to see in the comments down below. My name is Yugi Bros, and I'm out tonight, guys. Peace.